It's Friday.
Yeah.
How are you guys liking working from home?
I kind of like it, but I miss the routine of going in and having like being able to be in the office and whatnot. So
Yeah, it's nice to separate work from your house.
I agree. That's been hard. That's been hard for me. Like I felt like when I went into the office, there were clear-cut hours.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas now, like, I kind of feel like it spreads throughout the day.
Right. Yeah.
I'll be right back, y'all.
Okay.
I'm back.
Yay.
I guess I can go ahead and get started and then
Yeah.
people can come in.
Sure.
All right. So I got a PowerPoint.
Hey, Lauren and Mallory, can y'all still hear us, or can y'all hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Just wanted to make sure.
Thanks, Spencer.
Well, yeah, so we'll go ahead and get started. Thanks to everyone that can jump on today. We're excited to bring the second engagement webinar in the, what we're calling sort of the, I can't remember, it's Spring into Success. It's our Spring into Success series. And so we know that OAS knows that really to be able to be successful in a variety of different ways throughout this time as you're taking remote classes, you need to have the tools that are necessary to help you in that. And so today during the second series, we are highlighting a couple different online tools and resources that can really help you succeed in your classes. We'll also have a Q&A time. So if you have any questions or want to know a little bit more about different resources or just have general questions for us, that'll be a really good time to share them. So without further ado, I will hand it over to Natalie, who's going to take us through a series of information on different tools and online resources available to students. So,
yes. And thank you for everyone who is joining us today. Can everyone see the PowerPoint? Okay, great.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so this one, like Spencer said, is online resources for your classes. Thankfully, the great staff at FSU has come up with a ton of resources as we're moving from in-person classes to online classes, which I'm sure none of us were expecting this semester. It's been a big shift for all of us. So I just wanted to hear from everyone and see how was the first week of online classes and working from home? How has all of that been? I know for me, it's definitely a big shift trying to get used to Zoom and meeting with students over Zoom versus in person. It's definitely a different dynamic. But if anyone else wants to chime in, they can.
It's kind of hard, I think, to navigate group meetings on Zoom because people try to speak at different times, and it's kind of hard to know when to jump in and when not to. And I know all of my professors have kind of adopted a different policy with it. So it's kind of like relearning new routines for each class, kind of midstream. So that's been a little challenging too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think using Zoom has become like a second nature kind of thing. I think many of us will be looking forward to a time when we can put Zoom off for a bit,
Yeah.
not use it so much. But in the meantime, I really like what it offers, and I think that interestingly, I feel like there's going to be a little bit more focus even after this with in-person classes on like how we can use tools like Zoom and whatnot to really support learning, work in the office, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So the first thing I wanted to cover was some resources from the Academic Center of Excellence, ACE. So on their website, they have some great resources. Since you can normally go there for tutoring, they have some resources that you can just utilize at home that'll hopefully be helpful. So the first thing is 6 Weeks to Success. And this is actually a PDF, but I think it's a great thing to utilize in order to stay organized and keep up with your classes and kind of keep a schedule. And it's kind of fun too, something different. You can kind of make it your own. So it has check-ins, things with online classes, some things that you can look over and just make sure that you're meeting all of these when it comes to the different aspects of the online classes. It also has some different study techniques to try because obviously study guides and note cards, there's so many different ways that you can use different study techniques. And this just comes out with a bunch of different ones that you can probably utilize and try. They have some graphic organizers that you can use. A way to keep all of your assignments and exams and everything that's due over the course of the rest of the semester, since everything's online, just a good thing to write it down and kind of remember and just have that in front of you at all times so you can kind of keep track of everything. Then a little monthly calendar, and also if you want to plan out every hour of every day, it has something for you to do that too, and you can make this fun and unique in your own way. And then habit tracker, because it's obviously important to make sure that even though we're kind of all quarantined right now, that we have enough water, sleep, and exercise, and other things that you want to kind of keep as normal as possible during this shift in routine. You can add to this habit tracker and kind of make it fun way to track it. There's plenty of these. And also some things on making new good habits and accountability. A study cycle, so just some tips for studying before lecture, during lecture, after lecture, what that's going to look like, and just some tips for that. I think this is great that ACE provides us with this. And then some encouraging things. What are my strengths? What motivates me during this time, especially with online courses? While you're probably used to just doing a lecture, it might shift to all discussion-based, discussion boards or papers and things like that. And it seems like it might be a little bit more work than it would be for an in-person traditional class. That's what we have from the 6 Weeks to Success. Another thing that ACE provides is a reading system, SQ3R. And since you might be doing a lot more reading with the online classes, this might be helpful. Just kind of sometimes when you're reading, you don't really know where to focus, what's important in the readings. So this just gives you a few tips of what to look for while you're doing the readings, maybe help you find out what the professor is actually trying to get you to understand from the reading. So survey, question, read, and reflect, and just some tips on how you go about doing that. Another thing with ACE is they are doing Zoom tutoring appointments. So if you feel like you need tutoring with the shift to online classes, they are doing some tutoring. And then the Reading and Writing Center is also offering some tutoring appointments, and you can schedule all of those online. Also, being an FSU student, you have a lot of free online resources. So the great thing about this is you get access to all of Microsoft 365. You can easily access this either online or you can actually download it to your computer. So I have this linked to the web page that shows you how you can actually download all of these programs to your computer. And if you have a PC, you can download all of these. With Mac, there's about 3 or 4 of these that isn't compatible, unfortunately, with Mac. But you can download the majority of these to your computer if you want to use them. Or if you just want to use these online, you can use the online versions of them. But I feel like the online versions are kind of limited. So I personally like to download them to my computer and utilize them in the app itself. A few other things. LinkedIn Learning. So prior to LinkedIn Learning, we used Lynda. And this is just a lot of training and kind of videos on helping you learn some techniques. So if maybe you're doing a class that uses Excel, you can do, and you have a MacBook, Excel for Mac, and there's tons and tons of resources on how to use that. Classes that you can sign up for. Also, if you need a break, they have chair yoga. So if you only have time for like a 10-minute break, this is a 30-minute video right here. And if you just want to take 10 minutes and do 10 minutes of yoga, because self-care is also important with online classes, making sure that you actually take breaks and step away whenever you need to just take a breather. So I thought that was a good resource on there. They don't just have school-related things, they also have some fun things that you can utilize. Another resource is the My FSU Virtual Lab. So this is 24/7 access that you can have to the same applications that are available on a campus computer. So things like SPSS and MATLAB that you might not have access to at home, you can access all of those on the My FSU Virtual Lab. And there's a lot of other things also that you can access on here. Mine might look a little bit different than a student one because this is the staff one, but as you can tell, there's a lot of different programs on here that you can use that you might not have on your own computer at home.
Hey, Natalie, just so you know, we can only still see the PowerPoint when I think you're clicking off to maybe show other sites.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's not showing like the actual site that you're on.
Okay,
Just
thank you for letting me know.
I mean, I know most of them, so it's fine. I just wanted to let you know.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
I might have to share.
All the fun things of Zoom, right?
Yes. Let's see.
I think, Natalie, I think there's a way when you share your screen for you to share, like if you click on it, you can change the screen that you share.
Okay, okay.
Because it's probably pulling up separate links, and then you
right.
You should be able to, like, I think there's an up arrow when you share your screen, and that up arrow gives you different options.
Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Like I said, I'm new to this Zoom thing, so I didn't know that was happening. I'll just open a couple of the things that I already had open on here and try and show that to y'all.
And we'll also make sure that you all get a copy of this PowerPoint, as well as all the resources will be posted on the website as well. So
Yes.
Thanks, Spencer. Yeah, I was going to ask if this would be available after, so we can just put it on the link. That'd be great. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, so this was the reading system that I was telling you guys about. Can you see it now? Okay, great. And then like searching yoga on LinkedIn. The FSU virtual lab. With all the different programs on here. And this was the really cool one that I really liked. The organizer, so checking in, different study techniques to try, graphic organizers, being able to write down everything, calendars, and then an hourly schedule, habit tracker, and then good habits and accountability. All right. And then also there's the Adobe Creative Cloud that you'll have access to through the end of May, if that's something that you want to look into, especially for projects where the instructors are looking for creativity. You'll have access to Photoshop and Illustrator, or if you just want to use them for fun, these are great programs to have access to. And then I also wanted to share some library resources available during this time. There's research help on the library's website. You can find a subject librarian, and you can search the subject that you're looking for, and it'll pop up a librarian who actually specializes in that area. So if you're doing a research paper and you need some help finding some good areas to search for things within that specific subject, they can help you out with that. You can also do a live chat with a librarian if you just have a really quick question. They also have a research guide. So if you can actually look it up by the specific class and see what that class is looking for as far as research goes. They also do Zoom late night tutoring. So they have tutoring late night for math, physics, statistics, chemistry, and modern languages.
Natalie, I have a question about the Zoom late night tutoring. That's separate from ACE. This is just at the library.
This is library, yes.
Okay.
I'm not sure if ACE teamed up with the library, but it's on the library's website.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll try to pull that up too, just to give a visual. For the research guides, you can go to whatever class you want to look at. So computer science, for instance, and say you're taking CGS 2100. They'll have the basic requirements for the research paper that you'll need, some sites and additional sources. And then here on the right, they have the person that you can contact that works in the library who can help you out if you need some additional assistance with the research paper. So here's the online tutoring. This isn't the exact link I have in the PowerPoint, but it goes over pretty much the same thing. So the link in the PowerPoint has the specific subjects that are available and the times that they're meeting on Zoom for the live tutoring. And then just lib.fsu.edu, obviously for research help, that's going to be the best place to go. They have a great research system online and you can do advanced searches and really filter out everything that you're looking for. And also the FSU bookstore is providing 7 ebooks, free access to ebooks. It's not through the FSU bookstore website. It's a separate website, and I'll show you that in a second. But you can get up to 7 ebooks, and I think they have some textbooks on there. I know as an on-campus student, you can access some of the textbooks in the library in Strozier. So if you were doing that before and now you might not have access to a textbook, you may be able to find it here. The FSU bookstore is also offering free shipping right now, and also free shipping on return, so you don't have to come back to campus to return your books. I just thought that was some good information. And if you need a deadline extension on returning your books, then they're offering that at this time also. So this is the website that's offering up to 7 free ebooks, studentresponse.redshelf.com. So I think they have textbooks on here, but they might have other books too that you can utilize. These look like some textbooks that they have on here. And you can search by ISBN also. Some other resources available is Grammarly. So there's a free version that you can use with limited recommendations for improvement. But what Grammarly is you basically upload a Word document, or you can just copy and paste the paper that you're writing, and you can go through and it'll give you improvements for grammar. It will suggest that you use other words if you're using one word too much, and it's a great tool to use. I know some colleges may provide it for free, but I'm not sure that all the colleges do. So you could get the paid version for $11.66 a month if that was something that you were interested in. Also Quizlet. So I'm sure you guys are aware of what Quizlet is, but another great online study tool. There's also Hippocampus, and that's really good for the visual learners because there's videos on there. They have some great resources for videos. And I'll show you that one in a second. And then there's also Tiny Cards. And Tiny Cards was created by Duolingo, the app that you learn different languages on. And it's kind of just flashcards, but you can customize and use your own flashcards and make it really fun and different. So Hippocampus, if you're taking a chemistry class, you can click chemistry. And then organic chemistry. And then you can just choose and it'll have about a 5 to 10 minute video just showing you the basics of whatever the concept is. I think this is really great for visual learners, especially since you're not getting as much live lecture as you probably would with the in-person classes. I think this would be really helpful, especially for the more difficult classes where it's really helpful to see things. And also, there's a ton of more resources on distance.fsu.edu/support, going over so many recommendations and supports that you can utilize while you're taking online classes. Also, its.edu/student essentials has a lot of the essentials on there for switching to online classes. And then student affairs, which is the department that we're under here at OAS, they have a virtual FSU page, and you can go on there and they have all of the departments under student affairs. So they have the University Counseling Center, University Health Services, case management, everything listed under there, and all the resources that they're providing at this time. So that doesn't really have to do with your classes, but if there's other areas that you're struggling in that you really want to utilize some of the other resources that are available, they're offering that on the Student Affairs website. And that's pretty much all that I have for the online resources. Does anyone have any other online tools that they've been using at this time that they would like to share?
I think, one thing that I want to encourage students to do is still set up their study groups. And so you can use video conferencing tools. You can use, I think through your Office 365 account with the university, you should have Skype. So I believe as students, you should be able to use Skype to do like video conferencing of some kind, or that you can do a little study group together, use GroupMe or whatever group app you're using, kind of group texting app that you're using to set up a study group, and make sure that you're, utilizing those tools to still stay connected with all of your peers. Use Canvas to reach out to your peers and say, hey, I'm setting up a study group. Would anyone want to get together to kind of set something up, so that we can kind of go over and study things together still without, without missing out on that person-to-person connection. So I think that that's a really important thing to do as well, and utilize those resources. And then also, I want to encourage students to also reach out to their faculty and reach out to maybe even their departments or their colleges to see what other resources exist. So there might be some discipline-specific resources that that students are missing out on because, we wouldn't necessarily know, but maybe their faculty know about them, or there may be a resource page that a faculty member is creating to help them study, to help them keep on track with the different topics in their classes. So.
Well, if nobody else has anything else to add, thank you guys so much for attending. I hope this was a little bit helpful for y'all. We'll definitely get the PowerPoint out to you guys so you can use the direct links that are in there and access all of those good resources.
Lauren, Mallory, did you have any questions that any of us can ask from OAS can answer at all, or?
I did actually have like a OAS specific question.
Yeah, sure.
The resources are good and we're going to push those out to our student athletes. You know, some of them that we already knew about, but just some that I don't necessarily, with the population I work with, don't think about on a daily basis that might be helpful for our grander population. But I did reach out to Jennifer kind of when this all first started. I don't know that with all the hecticness of everything, if students have accommodations for like a reader and stuff like that, and their exams are still proctored online, how do we help them get accommodations since OAS obviously isn't open?
Yeah, so they need to reach out to us. I know our testing lab coordinator, Anne, has already done a test via Zoom.
Okay.
So we've done proctoring through Zoom that allows us to read the exam, that sort of thing. If the student is looking for a scribe, we may encourage the student to see if there's another individual that they are paired with that can have that opportunity to scribe for them, or what we can simply do is set up a Zoom and we would read it, and then we can, you know, have our proctor on our side of the Zoom, you know, write down the answers or that sort of thing. So we have ways of flexibility. So I think they just need to reach out to Anne.
Reach out to Anne. Okay.
Reach out to Anne if there's any questions or concerns about that. So.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I think with no more questions, we want to thank you all for jumping in on this session. And we're gonna, so the recording will be posted to the website as well as any resources that we have from this presentation. So everything's up on that programs and events page on our website. So we encourage you to reach out there or to take a look there. As a reminder, we're doing these every single Friday at 1 p.m. So next Friday, we're going to be talking about exam taking and specifically how accommodations might look like on exams now utilizing honor lock and whatnot. We're also going to go a little bit into what it's like to communicate with your faculty and communicate with faculty during this time that you may need accommodations and what specifically are kind of best practices with that. So we're going to encourage you to jump in on with us next Friday as well for that. And then we do have a special program happening next Wednesday as well at 5 p.m., which is our grad school preparation workshop that we're offering for students registered with our office, students with disabilities, and helping them look at what options grad school might offer to them. So we have those two programs next week, so we encourage you to jump in. And as always, please feel free to reach out to us, reach out to the office, your accessibility specialist, anyone of that nature. If you are having difficulties, if you want to share some information with us, if you need just to be in touch with somebody, to have communication with somebody, absolutely, please feel free to reach out to us. So. All right. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Have a great
Bye.
weekend. Bye-bye.